Good morning and welcome to the original Loretta Brown Show. Yay, radio to open the heart, heal the soul, and awaken the consciousness, which apparently I was awake most of the night.
Yeah, I heard. Well, the warm weather isn't treating us very well with that, but you seem pretty fresh.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Benny is like doing a little Photoshop on my face this morning.
I was just making sure you're not washed out on our camera.
No, I don't want to be washed
Camera
out because, hello, good morning, everybody that's watching on live. I know. We have live YouTube. You know, you can actually go there and there's studio cams. Is it that one?
It's this one, yes.
Hello, everybody.
Yes.
I love you all. And yes, I look fantastic. And so do you. I can see through to the other side. Benny's laughing. Yesterday, you know, was the Lions Gate portal, and I did a meditation last night, and that might have been part of it too, but who knows. Anyway, I am Loretta Brown. I'm the owner of Reiki Oasis, located right here in beautiful Bellevue, the east side of Seattle, Washington. And we've been in business 23 years, and that's kind of crazy. And I love what I do. I'm able to help people reach out. We do Reiki, we do sound healing, crystal bowls, hypnotherapy, meditation, workshops, etc., etc. And I'm taking a trip with a group of lovely spiritual sacred tribe people to Egypt, October 25th through November 8th. And believe it or not, I have one seat left. And I've had like 5 or 6 people contact me about that last seat that's available on the trip. And for some reason, they come and go, come and go. So I am a believer that divine happens. And if you feel some sort of a tug to Egypt and you want to know more about it, please contact me, Loretta Brown. And the best way to do it is to send me an email at info@ReikiOasis.com. I'll send you the itinerary and all the information, and you can make a decision. So that's what our big deal is right now. And, of course, we have Reiki Sharing Circle coming up this coming Sunday, August 12th at 11:30. That's held at Reiki Oasis in the classroom. Temple of the Divine Feminine is a week from Saturday, and that is my monthly class for women where we talk about all things mysterious, ancient mysteries. What is the Divine Feminine? What does it mean to be a woman in today's world, and what is it? How do we find our power, and how do we be in our power without being aggressive? You know, that's really not what, I mean, let me just say this. We have a lot of that out there, don't we? Yeah, we do. So maybe we could just figure out how to talk a little softer, a little firmer, and a little stronger. So if you'd like to come to any of the workshops, please go to schedule.reikioasis.com. You can sign up for workshops. You can sign up for appointments. I am a couple of months out booked, and we can go from there. I want to put a big shout out out to all of my supporters out there. We are a listener-supported show, and I just, from the bottom of my heart, am so grateful because your contributions help keep this show on the air. If you like what you hear and you want more of it and you want it to continue, please go to patreon.com/The Loretta Brown Show, and you can contribute right there. So, my listeners, I have a great guest. She's going to come up in a minute, but I want to ask you, how is August treating you? We've had some pretty intense energy. We've had some heat, some fire, some passion, some sweating. And now, guess what? I'm not going to talk about Mercury retrograde. Aren't you so happy? Because there's 6 planets retrograde. I know. I know. I told you, Benny, last week it was going to happen. Now it's here. And what I'm really going to talk about is the solar eclipse in Leo coming on Saturday, August 11th. It is the last eclipse of the season. And the eclipse is visible from Canada, North Europe, and Northeast Asia. During the eclipse, the disk of the moon will partially cover the disk of the sun. The eclipse takes place at 18 degrees Leo and is particularly important because it is the last solar eclipse in Leo, concluding a 2-year eclipse cycle in Leo and Aquarius. This last eclipse will culminate with answers to what was stirred in your life in the past 2 years. So what happened, my listener? What happened over the past 2 years? What changes have occurred in your life? The eclipse is linked to the solar eclipse on July 31st in the year 2000 also, and to the solar eclipse on July 20 of 1982. Wow. So what's been happening in your life? Do you have any common themes? Now, there is one more eclipse at 0 degrees Leo on January 21st, 2019, but that one will be a lunar eclipse, and by then the nodes of the moon will already be in Cancer and Capricorn. So this eclipse on Saturday is really a wonderful chance. I'm not going to say it's your last chance because it comes back around 18 years from now, but it's really your last chance immediately to fulfill your Leo mission. And what is your Leo mission? It's what's coming from your heart. What are you here to do? What is your purpose? What makes your heart sing? It's time to really dig down into that. And of course, like I said, there's one more reason why the eclipse is significant, and maybe there's more than one. But at the time of this eclipse, there is a record of 6 planets retrograde. It's like the whole sky has slowed down to make sure you pay attention. You may have noticed in the last couple of weeks repeated messages that keep coming your way. The sky, the divine, is calling out to you. Your heart is calling out to you. Do what you can to break through the slowness and resistance and find the speck of light that is always there. With all this opposition to the eclipse, you will be asked to think about new beginnings. At the same time, you will need to look at old endings. And this could look like an old friend showing up and you decide to do business together. Or you finally go to counseling to take care of all that old baggage following you around, and you will actually be able to let it go. And the main theme here is that you cannot move into your new beginnings without addressing the past. You might find yourself torn between 2 commitments that you have already made. One commitment might be more personal in nature, while the other might be more like an obligation. And when we're in that space of what does my heart want to do, what do I feel like I have to do, it's a little slippery slope because we do have responsibilities. We do need to show up fully and completely in our lives, but this is a time to really take a look at it. The question that the eclipse will raise and the answer it will bring is, what solution can you find, and how can you reconcile this conflict of interests so you can live within your own beautiful integrity, live from your heart like the Leo lion does. So in this eclipse, the moon will cast a shadow over the sun. All planets revolve around the sun. The sun is the engine of our solar system, and we wouldn't be here without it. The sun rules Leo, and the sun is literally the center of our solar system in the same way that Leo rules our heart, the center of ourself. This simply means it's time to find your voice, your gifts, your passion, and share it and your gifts with the world. Sharing your gifts with the world is nothing less than an act of love. And I can't think of a more beautiful way to bring in my guest today. My guest is Prema Gurreri, and we're going to talk about her new book, Your Sacred Wealth Code. According to Prema, you have a unique internal design for wealth encoded in your soul blueprint. And like your fingerprint, it's unlike that of any other human being. It's unique to you. And it's called Your Sacred Wealth Code. And boy, don't we want to know more about that. I can't tell you how often people come to me talking about money, finances, and wealth. Welcome to the show, Prema.
Oh, hi, Loretta. I'm so thrilled to be here with you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's really, really great. I have your beautiful book here. I'm going to show it to the YouTube people, and it's just lovely. It's got your sweet picture on the front with your halo of light, and I love that. And like I said, the book's called Your Sacred Wealth Code: Unlock Your Soul Blueprint for Purpose and Prosperity. Purpose and prosperity sounds kind of like what I was talking about in the astrology report. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Prema. And I know that's always a big question, but what led you to the point where you are writing this book?
Well, first, I want to say that, really I am, my deeper purpose here is to inspire people to live from the inside out. And I do that in a lot of different ways, and your Sacred Wealth Code serves that in a particular way. And I'm really committed to creating a world where everyone's really empowered to live according to their own soul blueprint, really on purpose in a way that's aligned with the best of themselves and with their own true definition of wealth. And creating your Sacred Wealth Code, it's really because of my own personal journey. It found me, I want to say. So I live in the Seattle area, and I used to live on Bainbridge Island, which is an island right across from Seattle. And I had a big healing and yoga center, and this yoga center was I opened in 2002, I believe, and we were open for 5 years. And it was really just a little bit beyond its time, I want to say. It was pretty amazing. It was two gorgeous studios and practitioners, and I trained teachers in my own yoga and beyond method there. And I was doing my intuitive work and my astrology work, and really helping people to get deeper connected to the truth within them through those bodies of work. And, it was a six-figure in sales business, but I was struggling personally and financially and on a prosperity level. And I really felt like I was on purpose. And I was just really confused at why I was just having a hard time making ends meet. Now, granted, my overhead was high, and there was, I'm in a business where people are being called to take care of themselves. That's the reason they would come in, and that fluctuates. But over time, even though I felt I was really on purpose, things started to fall apart in my life, including my marriage. I really had run out of any money I could borrow to keep the center afloat. And I really came to one of those, dark night of the soul moments after feeling like, wow, I really thought I knew how energy worked and spirituality worked. And I've been working all of this from the inside out and from a practical level. And I can't make it anymore. And it was pretty humiliating, I want to say. I was really sort of hiding that fact for a while. But I really get the message after trying a lot of things that I really had to let this go, which was incredibly hard for me, a single parent at the time. And I felt incredibly vulnerable and exposed. And I really did have to let it all go. And in that, I vowed that I would find out what was my missing link, because I really felt like I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, but something was amiss. And I literally just vowed to stay on my knees, which I did, until I figured this out, which meant I had to really dive into my shadow at that time. And, the beautiful thing about our shadow is that it's really just parts in us where a lot of our energy is locked up. It's really, in fact, in the book I write about it in the fourth pillar of wealth. It's really, the unexpected gateway to wealth, because when we release the power hidden in our shadow, we are able to step more fully into who we are and into our gifts. So I really saw where I was in my shadow, and I was able to clear those blocks and barriers. And that's an ongoing process, by the way. The
Yeah.
more we expand, the more we bump into the parts of ourselves that aren't in that expansion. And one of the things that I had been stuck in the shadow side was I'm independent. I lived on my own since I was very young, but I was too independent, where I was doing way too much of my business myself and wasn't relying on a team as much as I do now, for sure. And so what that did was that didn't allow me to fully stand in my gifts. My energy was diluted. I was spending too much time in things I was just good at, like administration and things that just sort of taxed my system instead of really my true gifts. I was also hiding the fact that I'm an intuitive. And so as I stepped out of the shadow and embraced my gifts, that's really the basis of the Sacred Wealth Code really dropped in during that time. And I vowed to never do my business alone again. I was stepped more into private practice and up my I moved more to partially in person, partially online. I hired a heart-centered business coach. I went back to work with my astrology mentor and a spiritual mentor. And from that point on, I got myself financially solvent within a few months. And as my business grew into a thriving business within a year or so, and has just continued to grow and evolve since then. And after teaching this body of work for many, many years, and I'm sure we'll talk more about that, but after teaching for many years, I just kept getting that tap on the shoulder until it was kind of a 2x4. You need to actually write this book, and the book is really a personal journey you can go on yourself, so that you can discover what your Sacred Wealth Code is. And this beautiful deck of cards, and actually the Sacred Wealth Journal that goes along with it, is being printed as we speak.
I love that. I love the honesty and authenticity of your story, because it. I know that everybody can relate to it, myself included. When we're taking a look at wealth, first of all, the definition of wealth. A lot of people are like, "Well, are you talking money or abundance? What are you talking?" Right? And it sounds to me like maybe there's a connection there. Um, because what I kind of heard you say was that you were maybe spending some of your energy doing things that were not your most powerful gifts, if I could put it like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me just mention two things. My definition of wealth is everything you need to fulfill your purpose. It's what you need to acquire in order to do what you've come here to do. And I don't just mean your purpose as your business or your career, but we make a difference in the world in so many different ways. And there's a purpose behind everything we do. So it's the wealth that you need. And it just equates to, people equate it to wealth to money so much in our culture, because, that is the common currency of exchange. And really it is all energy. But wealth is also very unique to each and every one of us. And in my book, I help, in the very beginning, help you to understand what your wealth dream actually is. So you have your own personal definition of wealth. And I guarantee for all of you listening in, it's not money. It's whatever you believe that money is going to provide for you or give you. Underneath that, there's an experience that you are, that you want, that you desire, that you're yearning for. So that wealth is everything we need to fulfill our purpose. That's a really big premise. And when I was looking at Vedic astrology charts over the years, people obviously come to me because they, usually not after, as my teacher would say, not after winning the lottery. People usually come on their knees, or wanting deeper guidance, or they've been through a challenge. So what's the, where is the money? Where's the love? Where's my health? Where's God? Those are the things, at a core level they tend to come with. And, in that, I really started to really see in the particular scientific principle in Vedic astrology, which is different than Western astrology, that where your purpose and your prosperity planets come together create where we find wealth in a soul blueprint in a Vedic astrology chart. And I started to really see this is where your highest value gifts are. We're gifted in a lot of ways, but the gifts that have the highest value to the world, when you give those gifts, you'll actually be recognized for those gifts and receive that wealth that you're encoded for. And we're all encoded for, wealth in different ways. So your highest value gifts are also like a key that unlocks something in the world that you've come to unlock. And you're the only one who can do what you do in the way that you do it. I don't care how many people have written books or how many astrologers or how many people do Reiki or have radio shows. You know, Loretta, you're unique because of you and your encoding and your energy, just as I am, just as everybody is listening in. And that's really the essence of your sacred wealth code.
I love that. Excuse me. We're going to take a little station break. This is Loretta Brown. This is the original Loretta Brown Show. My guest today, excuse me for my voice, is Prema Gurreri. We're talking about your sacred wealth code. We will be opening the lines up in a little bit later in the show after the break, and you'll be able to call in and get a little bit of information about your sacred wealth code by calling 425-373-5527 or 1-888-298-5569. Thank you, Benny. We're going to take a little break. We'll be right back.
Yeah, we got to get rid of a frog. So
Yeah,
we'll be right back with more. Did you know that Reiki healing can be done at a distance? It's true. So let Reiki Oasis focus powerful energy to help relieve your stress, grief, sadness, anger, and so much more. Convenient, personalized treatments at a distance can increase lightness of being. During your appointment, find a quiet place to lie down or sit to receive healing energies. If you want help with your dis-ease, visit ReikiOasis.com. Harness life's energy. Visit ReikiOasis.com today.
It's a great time of year to be outdoors, fishing in a local stream, splashing through a creek. We all assume these waters are safe and clean, but for most streams, no one knows for sure. That's a problem we can do something about. The Isaac Walton League of America can help us get started, from stream cleanups with friends to simple water quality tests designed for volunteers like you and me. The League has been helping community volunteers find and fix water quality problems for almost 50 years, with simple tools that produce results you can use to test streams for pollution, to get your friends and neighbors involved, and to help protect streams where we enjoy the outdoors. To get started, visit iwla.org today. That's iwla.org.
Alternative Talk 1150 is like no other radio station. Here we provide a platform for the exchange of great ideas and positive energy. Our radio shows vary greatly, but do share a common goal of bettering listeners' lives. Perhaps you're ready to join our family of radio show hosts. Learn how affordable and rewarding it can be to host your own radio show. Call me, Eric Prema, at 425-653-1150. That's 425-653-1150, and let's discuss your radio dream.
Let angels and Reiki and the search for mystical knowledge become a regular part of your routine Thursday mornings at 8 a.m. Loretta Brown, owner of Reiki Oasis, Reiki Master Teacher, an angel messenger, and healing musician, all wrapped into one as she uses her voice to share knowledge of great mysteries, energetic laws, and messages of love from the divine. Join her and her show every Thursday morning at 8 a.m. to open your heart and heal your soul. Visit ReikiOasis.com for more information about her show.
Radio with no added hormones or preservatives. All natural alternative talk, 1150 AM.
Welcome back to the original Loretta Brown Show with my guest, Prema Gurreri, and we're talking about your sacred wealth code. I love this. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, Prema, tell us a little bit more. How do we figure out what the sacred wealth code is?
So, in my book is like a self-guided journey to discover what your Sacred Wealth Code is. And of course, I do Sacred Wealth Code readings. And if someone wants to go to to sacredwealthcode.com, you can take a quiz and discover what one of your archetypes is. But the book helps you to understand why you even want wealth and walks you through what I call the 4 pillars of wealth, so that you can really start to reframe what wealth and prosperity is to you. So you can start to understand where some of the places that you are gifted and maybe have not been honoring those gifts, and some of the places that you may be stuck in your shadow, and the purpose that you even want for wealth. And in fact, the first pillar of the 4 pillars is your purpose, harnessing your soul's big why. And you could think of purpose and prosperity as being an intersection, okay? And as I said, it's where your purpose and your prosperity come together in your soul blueprint, creates your Sacred Wealth Code. And think of your purpose as the vehicle that's going to get you there. When you know what, the big why behind anything you do, then you're in touch with the purpose. So the big why behind what you want for wealth. And in this part of the book, I give you practices to do. I lead you through it. In fact, there's an online portal. You can even just sit back and have me ask you the important questions and lead you through the meditation process so you can discover what your why for wealth is. And in the second pillar, your passion, the essence of fulfillment. And you can think about passion as being, in the way I describe it and encourage you and encourage my clients to use passion, it's to fuel your purpose. And it may not be directly connected, because some people say, well, just follow your passion. Yes, but what's my passion? Well, your passion is anything that that lights you up, that inspires you. And so, I love to be in nature. I love to grow in my garden. I love to hike through the forest to the beach every day with my dog. I love to do yoga. I love to dance. I love to write. There's a lot of things that I have passion around. So I do them all regularly, which gives me the fuel I need to stay attentive to my purpose and to stay on it. So you can think of the second pillar as being the fuel that gets the vehicle of your purpose to the intersection of purpose and prosperity. And then the third pillar, which is your highest value gifts, which we've been talking a bit about, and wielding your superpowers. So again, think about this intersection, and that your highest value gifts are the houses on the corners of that intersection. And you want to live in those houses as much as possible, so that you are at that intersection of purpose and prosperity. You are where your Sacred Wealth Code is. So I help you to discover a couple of your highest value gifts in this pillar. And then the final pillar, which is your greatest challenges, the unexpected gateway to wealth. This is where we dive into the challenges, the shadow, and you can see where some of your gifts are locked up. And I actually give you some processes here to step out of the shadow and into the light. So you've gone through a journey to understand wealth, to understand at least what 1 or 2 of your high-value gifts are, and then you walk through the really fun part, and all that's fun, but the really fun part, which is discovering the archetypes. So there are 23 archetypes, and the archetypes hold your high-value gifts. They hold your superpowers. And after teaching this for a while, the archetypes showed up because they're a soul language. And I can say to you, leader, honorable warrior, merchant, teacher, and a story just opened up for you in all of those archetypes just in that moment, because they are a soul language. And you can have a personal relationship to that particular archetype and find your gifts within it. So the archetypes are all described, and the Sacred Wealth Code cards have all the archetypes. And so then you're in a place armed and ready to read through the archetypes and discover which ones most resonate for you, except for the caveat is the ones that hold your highest value gifts. So sometimes those might be the ones that you're like, yeah, I'm a little bit hesitant, or maybe even if you have to really tell yourself the truth. Yeah, not just what you're good at, but really where your unique abilities are. And so that's the sort of the overview of the book, and I teach this in retreat, and I have the archetypes, because even though everyone has maybe 3 to 5 that are specifically their sacred wealth code, and which, of course, I can pinpoint in a reading, but we have all of these energies within us, and they're all good for something at different times.
You know, I'm listening to you, and I've said this before on my radio show. There's a strange, beautiful synchronicity that often happens when people are on the show, and you were talking about that the sacred wealth codes have to do with our purpose and prosperity, and you know, in there, I think in the second pillar, you're talking about the passion that lights us up. And at the beginning of the show, I was saying, you know, this is a great time for you to find out what your heart wants. What is your purpose, and go forward. This would be a beautiful time for people to get a reading with you. Like, perfect.
And especially with all this energy going on, and from the from the Vedic standpoint, we look at it a little bit different because timing's a little different. But there are several portals that are open right now, and some of them are rather frustrating. And there's a lot shifting right now for each and every one of us, because wherever the eclipse pattern is happening, it happens in 2 constellations and 2 areas of life. But depending on what planets are there, it can bring several areas of life together for you. And they're undergoing change. And some areas you're being asked to let go of. Some things you're opening up to what's new. Some are for you and some are not, because it's a shadow, stormy period of time. We're going to see more clearly as we come into September, come into the fall. But to know whatever you're challenged with right now, or whatever doesn't seem to be able, you can't get it to stick, to know that, is it time to let go? Is it time to maybe find a different way to work with this, and to have some patience, or whether it's really time to cut and run, is useful information to have, because there's a lot shifting in and shifting out right now.
Yeah, I love Vedic astrology. I just love the language of it. How does somebody know if they are in alignment or out of alignment with their sacred wealth code? Because you were talking earlier about sort of, like sometimes we have so many things we're doing and we're good at a lot of things, but I kind of think this helps bring a focus. And so how do we know if we're in or out of alignment with our sacred wealth code?
Well, that's a great question. So we are good at a lot of things. I have vowed, if I come back in another lifetime, that I will just say I don't know anything, because I know how to do way too many things. Which is, and it's so, of course, I've been on my own journey to discover really, really where my gifts are, and to stay in the zone of my gifts. Which, the beautiful thing is that helps us all create a world where everyone is using their gifts, and we're never meant to do it alone. So, like on my team in my business, I've got several different people doing different things that I don't do, that I could do, but I don't do them as well as they could do them. And because of that, we have this we're creating this beautiful thing together. And I just really imagine a planet where we're all doing that. So how do you know when you're off, when you're not using your gifts? You're usually in pain in some way. You're suffering in some way. You're feeling like you don't have that deeper meaning in life, or in what you're doing. You can feel just simply like, you're off purpose. It's lackluster for you. There's not passion there. Like, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I can do this. But doesn't have that really exquisite blend of sort of that inspirational passion that just kind of runs through you. Like, imagine that you're an artist, or for any of you that are artists, and you are, say you're painting a picture or doing something creative like that. And as you're doing it, you realize, you're even sort of amazing yourself at what's coming through, not just because it looks beautiful, because you're like learning more every moment as you're doing it, and it's pulling you forward, and you just want to play with it more and do more. And it just seems like you have this wealth. The more you interact with that particular gift, there's like a wealth of information that just sort of drops in. It's like you have a PhD and you don't necessarily remember all the studying you did, but when you step into that arena, it's just all there, and it's exciting and incredibly wonderful.
Yeah, I'm being with what you're saying. So there is that um, lackluster. Yeah,
There's that
yeah.
lackluster. There is that lack. And,
There,
you know,
yeah.
something that happens, I think, a lot, Loretta, in the times we're living in because
Uh-huh.
things are way too busy, they're
Mm-hmm.
moving too fast, and we have too much information coming at us in a day.
Yeah.
So that all jams our circuits to really being able to focus on what's ours to focus on. So you may be in your gifts, and this happened to me in my yoga center. You may be in your gifts, but you might also be sort of um, doing some things that you're just good at, and they are eating up too much of your time.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't really have the time to fully give what you're here, you know, fully immerse yourself in your gift. And again, you're worn out, you're a bit stressed. Um, and the other thing is the outer recognition piece, and I work with this so much with my in my business academy and my Sacred Wealth Circle, that some of our gifts are unseen gifts, and at some level in our Sacred Wealth Code, they're sort of the gifts behind what we can do, so to speak. And so those gifts we haven't necessarily been seen for or haven't been recognized in the world. And so the gifts that we have or the talents we have that we can do it, so maybe you
Mm-hmm.
can really crunch numbers. You're a great accountant. And there's nothing wrong with that. That really falls under the organizer or the administrator archetype. But there's other gifts sort of that fuel that and are behind that. And that kind of overtakes your time, your energy, and also the way you're recognized. And so even as children, parents just unknowingly recognize their children a lot of times for what they want them to be good at or what
Mm.
they're good at,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to just letting them
Yeah.
really blossom with their unique gifts.
Yeah, that's so well said right there. Yeah. Yeah, because I work with a lot of people who come in and they're like, "Well, I was sort of encouraged this way and I wanted to do this thing and it just wasn't, mom and dad were like, no, you can't go be a starving artist. You have to go
Right,
be an attorney, right?
right.
That kind of a thing." So I want to talk just a little bit more about the archetypes and then the lines. We're opening up the lines. We're going to be drawing Sacred Wealth Code Oracle cards for anybody who feels a little shaky. You're the one that needs to dial the number 425-373-5527 or 1-888-298-5569. You'll get a little bit of a reading with the Sacred Wealth Code Oracle cards. But I have a question about the archetypes because you said there were 23 archetypes. And I want to kind of make a point. I think you said there's a place where people can go and get a free, free, take a little quiz and find out one of their archetypes, right?
Yeah, so at
Mm-hmm.
sacredwealthcode.com, you can, right there, you'll see that you can take the archetype quiz, and that'll help you identify one of your Sacred Wealth Code archetypes. The archetypes, there are 23, and just the way the body of work just downloaded for me. I'm an intuitive, and just working with it, it downloaded. And let's remember, everything in this universe, has been created, and it's really ideas and it downloads through people usually. So this downloaded through me, and I'm grateful it did because it really gives a very robust way and articulate way for people to connect in with their highest value gifts. And there's 3 for each of the planets, each of the 7 planets, and 1 for the north and 1 for the south node of the moon. And I should say in Vedic astrology, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are the outer planets, and we look at them differently, and we don't count them as so those planets don't have archetypes in this particular system. They're, I won't geek out on you all, they are relevant in certain ways, okay?
Okay, that sounds great. And I got a question for you. Knowing our archetype, how do we work with them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the beautiful thing about when knowing one of your archetypes, so for instance, if you take the quiz, you're going to get this beautiful PDF that you can download that is going to give you the qualities of that archetype. Each archetype has a mantra, like the Great Nurturer. I give and receive nourishment, has a soul desire, Great Nurturer again, to be a channel for unconditional love, abundance, and growth. Each one has a purpose: to nurture, grow, and create community. Again, this is the Great Nurturer, and each one has a shadow side: overgiving, martyrdom, over-emotional, and over-attached. It has a list of high-value gifts. It has an inspired action plan. I nourish my body and soul first so that I may abundantly use my high-value gifts to nurture others with exactly what they need to grow and do for themselves. And then you're going to read extensively about yourself, basically. And there'll be a few paragraphs, and then there'll also be a few paragraphs for the shadow side. And you'll be able to see yourself in that description, and even with suggestions of where these gifts are super useful. And when I wrote this, or it wrote through me, I like to say, it really came out in a timeless language where you might read this one time and you really, a few things step out to you. And another time, other things step out to you. When you get a Sacred Wealth Code reading, one of the things there's a training that goes with it and a meditation. And one of the things I encourage you to do is I actually take you on a process to drop into your heart, which is the core of all my work, actually, and to access your soul through your heart. And out of the list of high-value gifts, I encourage you to really focus on and ask, which are the three that really are mine? Okay. Because when you can narrow it down for a little while and really start to wield those superpowers, I like to think about it like my archetypes have a superpower belt on, and those are the tools that are in that superpower belt, and they can be used and wielded at any particular time. And of course, in my Sacred Wealth Circle, I have a member site, and this is a big body of work and a big body of study, and how then to apply it to your life or to your business. And I've got all kinds of trainings on that as well.
Great. Well, we're going to take a caller, and we're going to have Prema's going to draw a Sacred Wealth Code Oracle card, but we're going to bring them on. And then just a reminder, the lines are open. You can call in 425-373-5527 or 1-888-298-5569 to get a little mini reading with Sacred Wealth Code Oracle cards.
So let me jump in real fast. Prema, do you need the birth date from our listener?
No, we're good. We're just going to go with the cards. So what I'd love to have is and I just want to be able to talk with this person for just a moment and ask a question.
Yeah. Sure.
Great. So we'll bring on Stacy calling in from Edmonds. Stacy, welcome to the show.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having us on today. This was really fun.
Hi, Stacy. Yeah, it's great to have you here. Stacy, I want to draw an oracle card for you and give you some information about what's most important to you today. So ask me a question about what you would really like to have some insight about.
Well, I'm calling for insight about business. I have two businesses I'm working with.
And tell me just really quickly what your businesses are.
Well, they're both my own, and one is energetic, and one is essential oils.
Which is energetic at a different level. Okay,
great.
Great.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, great. So here's what comes up for you. And I just pulled the Advocate for you. This archetype actually belongs to Saturn, and its greater purpose is aligning with the greater good for all. And I really see you, especially with the energetic business, and I just pulled two cards for you because you mentioned both of them, and I wanted you to see where you were in both places, and this will just take a moment. So as an advocate, you do have that ability to stand in for people, but also, well, not just people, but people, plants, animals, whatever but I get with you, there's a big part of this, that's people. You have an ability to stand in for them where they are challenged to stand in for themselves and help heal those parts of them. And, as an advocate, you have this great ability you have to be careful not to do things for them, but to just kind of like the Great Nurturer, give them what they need in order to grow, in order to open up and have the transformation that they are wanting for themselves. And I would really encourage you it feels like there's something that you're really here to take a stand for, and whether that's a particular social issue or a particular demographic of people struggling with it, something in particular. And I really advise you to stand in for that maybe stronger than you are. It's okay to be seen for that. Don't worry about, it really is where your passion is, and really allow yourself to be an outspoken, energetic voice for that. Does that make sense for you?
It absolutely 100% does. Yes. There's absolutely something I'm very passionate about. It came up in my life in the last 3 years, so it's always been a part of my life. And so here I am. And yes, absolutely.
So you need to get past, and the other part of it is you are standing in your shadow in some ways there, and I want to encourage you to do what you need to do to clear that, so that you can give yourself that, so that you can. One of the things you have going on, I would say, is over responsibility as far as the advocate goes. And so that means you're taking on responsibility for things that aren't yours to take responsibility for, which is using up too much of your bandwidth for you to really step in. So I encourage you need to break those patterns.
I have been working on that, so I appreciate that reflection.
You
yes,
are welcome. If you do get the book,
I've been working on it.
If you do get the book, you'll see that there is a process in there called, I believe it's called stepping. It's in the fourth pillar, stepping out of the shadow into the light. And in fact, there's an online portal where I actually lead you through that process, so that you can. Again, there's lots of ways to break patterns. I do a lot of that work, but you definitely, this one you're going to have to free up some of your bandwidth to really fully be that advocate. And just quickly, for the essential oil, what came up for you is the leader, and that's I lead from the heart. And I get that you're a very heart-centered person. That's not an issue for you, but allow yourself to actually lead with that. And if you need to be more outspoken about it, if you're selling essential oils, look at they have a great benefit. Do not be afraid to get out there and be a leader in that particular field, because you have the knowledge for that, and you have a leadership quality in you that really can soar in that arena.
Wow. Well, thank you. I appreciate that very much.
You are welcome, my dear.
Inspiring to me. So, ladies, thank you. I appreciate your show today.
Thank you. Thanks so much for calling in, Stacy. Yeah, that's a great reading. I'm going to just kind of poke at the listening audience a little bit. You still have time to get on the air if you'd like to have a little sacred wealth code oracle card reading, just a little short one. You can call 425-373-5527 or 1-888-298-5569. And like I say, if you're a little trembly, don't be trembly. Just dial the number and get in here and get some information that might help you focus in a little bit. I love these sacred wealth code oracle cards. They're beautiful. What is the best way to use them? Is it sort of like what you're doing where you ask a question and draw a card, or what do you suggest?
There are several ways to use them, and in the booklet that comes with it, I described some of the ways. One of the ways is exactly that. You can certainly ask for guidance on anything in particular. That's one way you could do it. You can use it as having great reminders of your particular sacred wealth code archetypes. You can just have them out and about and with you. You could do it's often my practice is, and in the morning I have a particular soul wisdom meditation that I've created that I do where we drop into the heart, find out what the heart wants for us, and then what that'll make possible for us in our lives. And then I'll draw a card or a card or two to have what archetype could help me hold this particular intention for the day.
Mm-hmm.
I might draw a card for, wow, I'm really struggling right now. Where am I stuck in my shadow? That's another way to draw a card. You could also do like a 3-card intention reading. So say I'm going to go to, I was at a conference last month, and actually the cards won Product of the Year, and the book won
congratulations.
like 8 awards.
That's awesome.
The cards in the book, the book won a gold in contemporary spirituality. And, but before I got on to speak, I had spoke twice during that event, and before I got on to speak, I grabbed 3 cards to, what the energies that would really support me in being able to show up and shine very easily on stage, So these energies are all within us. Now, the other thing is you can go, well, wow, I've got to lead something today, or I have to have a difficult conversation today. You could go get the communicator and read about the communicator, and because that energy is within you, and so that you sort of bolster yourself up with that energy as well.
I love it, and I love these cards because all cards have this sort of amazing thing where when you look at them, they just talk to you. We have another caller, and we're going to bring Nancy on.
Yeah, Nancy from Tacoma. Nancy, welcome to the show. Nancy, hi.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, how are you today? I love this subject. It's so interesting.
Awesome. Great. Thank you for being here. What would you like some insight on?
Well, I'm at a crossroads. I'm going to be looking for work pretty soon, and I just would kind of love a direction that would give me some insight.
Great. So a couple questions for you. What are you currently doing?
Nothing. Well, I'm a dog walker on the side, and I'm
something.
finishing up a degree in leadership and management.
Great. And so, you're currently looking for a position? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes. Well, I will be. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. So, interesting. So, what comes up for you today is the muse, and I inspire, and I am inspired. So, you mentioned leadership, but here's what I'm seeing for you is I want to invite you to be more connected with your own inner muse. And this is that literally your intuition, that, that still small voice, but sometimes it's a loud one as well. And it feels to me like so when I'm looking at your energy, there are opportunities that are really close by that you have been connecting with and are nurturing in some level. Some of them you see, and some of them you're just kind of overlooking, and that's okay. We're in a bit of a shadow time with this whole eclipse pattern we're in. But as we come into September, just even now, I want you to sort of pull in and tune in on a daily basis, and just really get quiet. And I want you to just take a little bit of time and really listen in and start to hear that muse specifically guiding you around where to pursue or where to nurture the connections for this position that you are getting ready for. As you come into September, it is going to be much more clear. And it's okay that if you do kind of apply or put your resume in a lot of different places just to kind of like more the gunshot approach to begin with. But I don't want you to keep doing that. I want you then to really, really tune in. And it looks to me like there'll be 3 different avenues that you'll pursue more closely, or better yet, that will also pursue you. But your job is going to be, and your challenge is going to be, believing that you can actually have the kind of position you really want to have.
Yeah.
So you need to do some work around. So you need to do some work around really identifying your gifts and your confidence in those gifts that really light you up. Because you're running a pattern that says, those, I can do this, and I know that I can make money doing this because there's positions doing this. But really, this is really, really what I want to do. But I don't know if that can really work for me. So there's some inner dialogue around that you need to resolve.
Right. So we are coming to the end of the show. And Nancy, thanks so much for calling in. Prema, we're down to like the last 30 seconds, 1 minute. How can people get a hold of you?
SacredWealthCode.com is the easiest access in. All my offerings are there, including the quiz, all my programs, readings, whatever, are all right there. The book is available there. So are the cards. They're both available on Amazon as well. Your Sacred Wealth Code is available on Amazon.
It's beautiful. All of the work is beautiful, award-winning. Your Sacred Wealth Code. Unlock your soul blueprint for purpose and prosperity with Prema Gurreri. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thanks for your beautiful work in the world. And to all of my listeners, have a wonderful weekend. Have a fantastic week. And it is going to cool off and then get hot again. That's what it's going to do. Anyway, show the love. Be kind to each other. And I'll talk to you next week.
The views expressed on this program are those of